Chapter 13 Secret Speech on Hermes Trismegistus Mountain to Toddy about rebirth and the rule of silence. Toddy, in your general discourse, my father, you spoke in riddles about divinity and did not reveal the meaning of two words when you said that no one could be saved in rebirth, and after the words you told me during the descent from the mountain, I addressed you pleadingly, wishing to understand the doctrine of rebirth as it is the subject most unknown to me. Then you said that you would transmit to me this doctrine when God was about to make me a stranger to this world, so I prepared to make my thoughts strange, as per your promise, the last initiation of rebirth whether by voice or by a hidden path. I am ignorant, Trismegistus, in what way, from what matrix, from whose seed is the human being born. O my son, spiritual wisdom is in silence, and its seed is the true good, and by whom is the seed sown, my father? I am totally perplexed by the will of God, my son, and what kind of human being is born, father? See, he has nothing in common with me in nature or intelligence. The one who is born of God is of a different species. He is a child of God and he is God himself. He is everything in everything, composed of all powers. You speak in riddles, my father, and not as a father speaks to his son, and this kind of knowledge was not taught to my son but is remembered when God wills it. Your answers are impossible to understand and forcibly drawn from me, my father. That is why I desire to make a sincere reply. Did I become a stranger in my father's family? Do not deny me your father's knowledge. I am your legitimate son. Explain clearly the path to rebirth. What shall I say, my son? Only what I have to tell you, the following. An ineffable vision occurred to me by the mercy of God. I went out of myself and was clothed with an immortal body. I am no longer the same as I was, for at that moment, something was generated in the intelligence that cannot be taught and cannot be seen by the physical body through this element constituted of matter, with the help of which we perceive things from below. For this reason, I am no longer content with my first physical and composed form. I no longer have a body, nor touch, nor measurements in space. I am a stranger to all this. Now you see me with eyes as something that has a visible body and form, but it is not with these eyes that I am seen now, my son. You are driving me crazy. You are making me lose my reason, my father. Now I no longer see the same. I hope that now you have come out of yourself without falling asleep, my son. In the same way that we are transported in a dream when we sleep. Toddy says furthermore, who is the author of rebirth, the Son of God, the first human being or the complete human being, essential light, according to the author's translation here by the will of God. I do not know what to think, for I always see you with the same size and the same figure. As for that, you are mistaken, since mortal things change appearance every day, time increases and decreases them, they are like deceptive things. Toddy, so what is true, Trismegistus, and what is not tainted, what has no limits, nor color, nor form, the immutable, the luminous, what can only be understood by itself, the unalterable good, a record. I am truly mad, my father. I thought I had become wise, but my ability to understand has been blocked. Is that so, my son? The senses perceive what you carry like fire, what descends like earth, what runs like water, what blows like the sea. But how could one perceive with senses what is neither solid nor liquid, neither hard nor soft, what is perceived only by the effects of its power and energy? To understand birth in God is only possible through intelligence. Then am I incapable of understanding this, my father? Do not despair, my son, your desire will be fulfilled. Your will shall result in the sleep of bodily sensations, and you shall be born in God, purified from the blindness of matter. Then do I have enemies in me, my father? They are not few, my son, they are many and terrible. Do I not know them, my father? The first is ignorance, the second is sadness, the third is intemperance, the fourth is concupiscence, the fifth is injustice, the sixth is greed, the seventh is deceit, the eighth is envy, the ninth is cunning, the 10th is anger, the 11th is recklessness, the 12th is wickedness. There are 12 of them, and they have under their orders an even larger number of them. By imprisoning the senses, they subject the entire human being more and more to passions, but gradually they distance themselves from the one whom God has had pity on, and this is what the method consists of and the reason for rebirth. And now, my son, speak no more, keep religious silence, and as a response, your silence, the mercy of God will not cease to descend upon us. For you have been purified by the powers of God, thus you have been united to the Word, the knowledge of God has come to us, and at that moment ignorance immediately disappeared, the joy of knowledge reached us, and before it, my son, sadness will flee from those who can be lost. It is the power that is good. After joy comes temperance, sweet virtue. We offer her, my son, the warmest welcome. For her arrival drives out intemperance, and fourthly, I evoke continence, the force opposed to concupiscence, and this degree, my son, is the establishment of justice. Observe how it expelled injustice with combat. I go to the sixth power, generosity, which has no us against greed, and when that withdraws, I evoke truth, then deception or illusion flees, and reality appears. See, my son, how the fullness of good appears with the arrival of truth, or envy withdraws from us, and through truth, good comes with life and light. And we are no longer attacked by the executioners of darkness. For we have all been conquered, fleeing away flapping their wings. And now, my son, know this, the path of regeneration with the arrival of these 10 powers, spiritual birth is complete, the 12th executioner is expelled, and with this birth, we are divinized. The one who has received the grace of God's mercy is freed from bodily senses through this divine birth, recognizes the divine elements that constitute him and rejoices in it. My father, I see the universe and myself in intelligence. Rebirth is precisely this, my son, no longer representing oneself with the gaze of the three-dimensional body. This is the gift of the teaching on rebirth that I presented only to you, so as not to disclose it to the multitude, but only to those whom God himself wishes to divulge. And tell me, my father, will this new body composed of powers one day decompose? Do not say that, my son, do not speak of impossible things, for it would be an error and an impiety in the eye of your intelligence, it would defile the body of sensation, as nature is very distant from essential or spiritual generation, for one is subject to decomposition while the other is not, one is mortal, the other is immortal. Do you not know that you have become God's child, the child of the only one, just as I? Good, then, Father, I would like to hear the hymn of praise that you promised to make me hear when I arrived at the birth of the 8th sphere of powers, according to the 8th sphere that was revealed by Poemandres. My son, your haste proves your freedom from the tent, for now you are purified. Poemandres, the intelligence of the supreme authority, did not transmit anything to me beyond what is written, knowing that I could understand by myself and understand everything I wished, and see all things, and he prescribed to me to do what is good. Therefore, all the powers within me sang, in all things, I want to hear and understand all these things, my father. Then, silence, my son, and listen now, my son, to the hymn of regeneration. I did not want to reveal it to you easily before you had accomplished all this. I explain this hymn. It is not taught, it hides in silence, so my son remains in an uncovered place, looks to the south, kneels here at sunset, does the same at bedtime, and now listen to the mystical hymn. Let all the nature of the world hear this hymn. Let the earth and every reservoir of rain open up for me, let the trees cease to rustle. Let the Lord of creation sing, let the whole world open up, let the heavens calm the winds, let the whole creation of God listen to my word, for I will praise the Creator of the universe, the one who extended the earth, who suspended the heavens, who commanded sweet water to come forth from the ocean and spread over the inhabited and uninhabited earth for the nourishment and creation of all human beings, who commanded fire to shine upon all nations of human beings and gods. Let us all together praise the one who is above the heavens, the creator of all nature. He is the use of intelligence, wanting to say the praise of my powers. Sing the powers that are within me, sing according to my will, all my powers, the sacred knowledge illuminated by you. Thanks, here I celebrate the intelligible light and rejoice in the happiness of intelligence. All my powers sing with me, also ask with me my continence. O justice, through me sings the righteous goodness, through me tastes turn the truth. Through me sings the truth well, also life and light. It is from you that praise comes, and through us it returns the voice. I surrender thanks, Father, energy for my powers. I surrender thanks, God, power of my energies. Has word song through me, receives through me the whole in word with a spiritual sacrifice. They what they cry out, the powers that are in me they sing nocturnal. They perform your will comes from you and returns from what is the owner, receives from all the spiritual sacrifice. Save listening universal who is in us, we illuminate the light spirit of God today. Has a word, the intelligence is the shepherd, the bearer of the spirit, a mature touch of the world. You are God is the human being who belongs to you. Brush these things through the fire of the air, of the earth, of the pinto. Through two creations I found attention in your eternity, and as desire for your will I found in the rest that I seek. I put the will to be dressed today, I praise to be sung, and there at what depth. Signal that Prof and the Father, I also put this Igor not I said in my intelligible world, Son, in the intelligible world, my Father, I am filled with power. The middle of the termination of your praise, the intelligence in me was fully illuminated. I also want to send from my own heart a praise too, and do it carefully, my Son, and here I please an intelligence to the Father I speak here. God, first author of generation, is a taxi sent. This verbal sacrifice of theirs. I am Father, you are the Lord, you are the Intelligence receive the verbal sacrifices. What do you want from me? For everything is accomplished through your will, and the son offers his father from all things an acceptable sacrifice. But add my son by the guild, and I thank my father for the advice you gave me about my number, and I rejoice my son for having hidden the good fruits of truth, an immortal thing. Now that you have learned this from me, I promise not to be silent about these miracles and not to reveal the tradition of transmission to anyone, so that we may not be considered in the blood pains. This I like is one of the meditating, I speaking, and two putting. And now could you know the use of intelligence anyway, and to our common polio, and we finish reading chapter 13.